You don't need to see this.
I'm not going anywhere.
Telltale Games has come a long way since the first season of The Walking Dead. While smaller releases such as their Jurassic Park and Back to the Future games garner them some small praise and success, the first season of The Walking Dead brought them into the limelight. A game critically acclaimed across the board and winning the Game of the Year. The tale of convicted murderer Lee and his story of survival and redemption while players participated in the story with twists and heartbreaks at every turn deserved every bit of praise it received. Naturally, with the open ending of the first season, a second season was bound to happen. Enter The Walking Dead Season 2. It's been several years since Season 2 came out. Season 3 is finished and Season 4 was announced only a little while ago. To get into the true grit of this review, I'll have to go into spoiler territory, so for those who have not finished Season 1 or 2, I would highly recommend finishing those seasons before watching this review. Season 2 picks up a few months after the end of Season 1. Clementine was able to find Krista and Omid, and Krista is even expecting another child. All is on high spirits for the beginning of this game. However, because this is a Walking Dead game, stuff hits the fan very quickly. Clementine leaves her gun on a sink, which leads to another girl walking in, taking the gun, and threatening her. Omid walks in after hearing all of the commotion and gets shot by the girl after she hears the door close behind them. Krista walks in immediately after the gunshot, and even after the girl drops the gun and puts her hands up to surrender, Krista mercilessly kills her as well. What this scene demonstrates for the rest of Season 2 is the antagonist theme against the core relationship of Clementine and another character. The antagonist theme of Season 2 is hopelessness. What makes this scene so representative of this theme is that this is the first time Clementine makes a mistake that directly leads into someone else getting killed. Throughout Season 2, Clementine is faced with decisions to help people that are only rewarded with severe consequences. Go out with a guy to scout, leave him dead after he gets bit. Have a guy on a bridge offer you help, gets shot by one of the members of your group. These are just two examples of things Clementine has to go through in Season 2, and the list never stops growing as this season goes on. Normally when it comes to these kind of stories, where it's just hopelessness everywhere, some can get bored and cynical and see this as a story just trying to be dark and edgy. What keeps Season 2 on the side of a well-written story rather than a piece of crap teenage edgelord fiction is the relationship between Clementine and a character that returns from Season 1.
Wait, you know this guy? Clementine?
Kenny returns from Season 1 back and alive after seemingly sacrificing himself to give Ben a merciful death after he fell off the balcony at the end of Season 1. His return is one of the most emotional things in Season 2, and the prompt to hug Kenny couldn't have come up faster. While the explanation of how Kenny survived is brushed over, and it's an obvious case of the writer saying, yeah, there's no way he could have survived, but here he is anyway, it doesn't feel like pandering service because of how his character is used in Season 2. In Season 1, Clementine was the anchor for Lee to stay in the group and make good decisions. When the group was crumbling around him, what made him stay was wanting to keep Clementine safe, and a group was the best thing that could provide safety for her. The other thing Clementine was for Lee was that she was a moral anchor for Lee. When faced with tough decisions, it's easy to fall back on the one that makes the most sense to just you. For example, when faced with the option of stealing from a car that nobody's sure is really abandoned, why wouldn't you steal the supplies? It's because you have a character that you care about that's impressionable. So now instead of choosing, what would I do, you're choosing, what would I do as an example of how people should act so this person I care about doesn't become like this. Kenny has taken the role of Clementine in Season 2. When making decisions in this game, you are now thinking, how is this going to affect Kenny, because he's an emotional ticking time bomb. We know his true personality from Season 1, and we don't want to see him lose hope after everything he's lost because of our connection to the character from that season. You may have heard that Season 2 is worse than Season 1, which is both true and false. Season 2 is an incredible continuation of Season 1, however it can't stand on its own the way Season 1 can. Without having the emotional connections to Clementine and Kenny from the first season, the core relationship of Season 2 simply does not work. The other criticism of Season 2 is that the decisions in this game aren't as big or game-changing as the ones in the first season. And that's true. There's a lot of cases where characters and events will happen no matter what you choose. However, even though these decisions and events aren't really changed by what you decide, that's not the focus of Season 2. Instead, the focus is to make decisions that will affect Kenny, and how to keep the relationship between him and Clementine alive throughout the game. Season 2 is a great continuation of Season 1, and I highly recommend playing through both. I can't wait to see what comes out of Season 3, Season 4, and I can't wait to see what else comes from Telltale Games. For more reviews from Grayson, check back to Casually Hardcore.